I'm Andrea Radek.
And I'm Kristen Plesko.
And today, in our second talk, we are going to talk about art directors.
Yeah.
Who they are, how to love them, how to hate them. No, we're going to talk about best and worst, and then how to talk to art directors. So, we touched on base on it the last time, about bringing your work to a convention and talking to art directors. Kristen, what would you say is your special secret to actually talking to art directors? Is it, would you say, just going to talk to the fucking art director?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. If you're not, well, I guess if you're regularly pretty personable, I guess. Like if you're like a nervous wreck, then maybe you need to work on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just casually like, hey, I'm looking for the art director. Are they available?
Yeah, basically, there's really not any special way of doing it. There's a lot of people that think that it's sort of guarded, or that it's impossible to actually... Like, there's, like, security around. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, nobody sees the art director here in this place. But literally, you just say, hey, do you guys have an art director around? And most of the time, they're like, oh, yeah, that's Joe. He's in the back. Let me go get him for you. He's been bored out of his mind. He would love to talk to somebody. And you don't go in there like, I really want a job. Would you look at my DeviantArt page? You have a portfolio. Most of the time, if you just have like a smart tablet, they really like that because it allows them to sort of zoom in and out as
also,
they need.
notebook. Have a notebook for what they say, because even if you're good, they're gonna give you a critique regardless of and that's really useful. And my God, that is the best way to get critiques, is just talk to art directors. That is literally their job. Yeah, also, like, if you don't go up to them, all they're doing are, like, arranging books and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
they're really not doing anything.
They're,
That's
like,
the funniest
stacking
thing.
and arranging,
Yeah, they're a salesperson with the rest of the people that are around most of the time. And like I said, they tend to really enjoy getting away and then talking to somebody. Mm-hmm. And a lot of art directors, like, they will sort of, I don't want to say they'll judge you, but they'll be able to tell what type of critique, they're able to give you based on your interaction. So... Yeah. Like, one of the times I saw this guy, and he was just like... like, I was talking with the art director. Mm-hmm. Okay, it was the WotC thing. I had a thing with WotC, and I was...
that was a Gen Con, right?
Yeah, that was a Gen Con, like 3 years ago. So, I had gotten, like, you have to sign up online. They have, like, this different site. I think it might have been through the Art Order. Was it through the Art Order? Anyway, so you sign up through there, and you're like, oh, I want this 15-minute slot, whatever. And then you just show up at this conference room, and I don't think WotC technically really offers these anymore at Gen Con, unfortunately.
No, that's why we had to basically track her down. But anyway, yeah.
I went in there, and I was talking with John Shinadet right before he quit, or left WotC.
Or did the thing. Yeah.
He started his own thing and stuff, and he's a super nice guy. But I was talking with him and somebody else. I'm not sure. It was another person from WotC, but she had gotten done with her critique fairly early, so she came over by us and stuff, and like we were all just sort of looking at it, and it was a very relaxed atmosphere. And I, of course, you're not like, please don't say anything bad. I have a sensitive belly. Like it's we were all just sort of shooting the shit and everything. We were having fun, and like I said, it was a very relaxed atmosphere. And then this guy, like, you can tell that he spent a while outside of this room, like, building up his confidence and stuff. And he just, like, welcome. He was, like, real fucking pompous and stuff. He's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm ready for my critique. I'm here to... The three of us are just like, sitting there, like, staring at him. And he's like, excuse me, we're not done here. He was talking with me. And he's like, yo, okay, I'll just... And then he, like, turned around and just went straight the fuck back outside.
Good. Yeah, don't be that guy. Just be normal.
Yeah. Be normal. Don't be defensive.
Yeah.
I think we talked before, don't have a shitload of pieces in there. Some art directors really do like shitloads of them, but like have like an established small group of ones at your show. That type of thing. And then
6 to 12, I think, is good.
I thought we had said it was less than that. It was like
6 to 8.
6 to 8, yeah.
Yeah, but some and of course it depends on the director, because some of them want more, which is weird, and that's what I ran into at a LexCon. Yeah. Sometimes they like to see more, so it's good to have at least, I guess, a tiny bit of extra in a different folder, so you can just like, do you have any more? Yes, I do, right here.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to suggest
basically just so you can segue into it. I mean, and luckily with a tablet, it's super easy to do that, and it doesn't look like you're just... I saw one person who carried around an actual, like, metal portfolio, and I have no idea why. It's just get a tablet.
It's out of date.
Yeah, don't do that, because then they're going to judge you on your craft. And if you printed something wrong...
What are some of the things you don't want to say to art directors?
Oh, I'm sorry that I didn't have time to trim it, or I'm sorry this...
that's a good one.
Sorry, this...
I'm sorry,
I
printed this off last minute at Kinko's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shows that you do not give 2.5 shits about your craft. Yeah. I was mostly saying something like, something you don't want to say is, I mostly just work traditional because I think digital is an invalid medium.
Yes.
Like, don't be a pretentious dick.
They won't like that. And most likely, if you're going to be pretentious, you're probably not...
Yeah, it's a lot of your presentation as a person, but don't be that guy. Don't be that, like, oh my god, it's Mr. Publisher, man, you know, I've gotten all your books and everything. Like, just don't make it fucking weird. They're just people. They shit they shit like everybody else does. They eat food like regular people.
Just pretend it's like casual business Friday, where you're still talking business, but you can be casual about it. Be like, oh, hey, do you have time to look at my portfolio? And either they'll say yes or no. You don't have to, like, oh, okay, you know. I don't know, just maybe practice with, like, your mom or something? I don't know. I don't know.
Just be comfortable. There was this one time that I was trying to talk to, what was the name of that author that was at Gen Con last year? He's like a really famous author, and he has like illustrated covers and stuff. And
James Gurney?
No.
Oh. I don't know.
Basically, like, I was too nervous to really go up and talk to him, so I took a couple shots of alcohol. I don't really suggest doing that.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember.
Nothing ever amounted to that, but...
Yeah, because I remember you were really super nervous in the hotel room, and Lep, was it Lep that mixed the drink?
No, he just had, like, a fucking flask of Everclear on him.
That's right. It was so good.
Would you like a little liquid courage? I'm like, you know what? Why the fuck not?
Yep.
It's probably not going to give me and I just went up to him, and he was sort of mobbed, and I was unfortunately that kind of nervous shit, and nothing came from it. I never heard from him, but I would not suggest doing that.
There's really no reason to, like, be nervous. I don't know why people get so nervous around artists.
I think a lot of the times I get nervous around a certain type of artists is because you have to interact with their overly grandiose perception of themselves sometimes. So sometimes they're sort of a pretentious dick.
Oh, well, that's the kind of artist I don't want to meet.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but sometimes you will run into those types of people, and it makes me nervous trying to interact with... Well, that's the thing, is like...
I ain't saying nothing, but...
It's why my profile says no goddamn artists, to date. I don't date other artists. They're the worst people.
I just can never find ones that are, like... both decent human beings and decent artists at the same time.
Yeah. There's a guy that I'm not talking to anymore, but, like, I saw on his page that he likes to draw and paint, and I'm like, oh god. I'm like, what type of things do you like to draw and paint? He's like, I like to make interpretive art pieces, and I really want the viewer to decide what's going on. And I'm just like, yep. Nope. We had a decent conversation before that, but that tells me a lot.
Yeah.
Just, ugh, my god.
No, I
But anyway, so... Yeah, generally just talk to art directors like they're normal people.
Yeah.
If sometimes they'll be like, oh, sorry, I'm really busy right now. Can you come back tomorrow? Like, I had to chase around the people from Fantasy Flight Games for like 2.5 days.
Yeah.
To finally get
also be
to talk
on
to the
time.
guy. Yes.
Be on time.
If you have some sort of... Be early, for fuck's sake.
Just be early. Have your tablet with you so you can play a game while you're waiting for them. Because it's always better to be early than to be late. In certain cultures it is.
For the most part, don't be late. Just
be
respect their time. Don't be like, I'm going to tell you a 25-minute story about this fishing trip that I had on. Be on task.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, best and worst art director stuff. So, obviously, we said this in previous episodes. We're not going to name names. We're going to be really generic, especially about bad art directors, because we don't want to burn bridges. Because some of these people we do actually still work for.
Yeah, that's true. So
yeah, it's
usually you don't work for another art director you hate.
Yeah, that really doesn't come up all that often.
But most art directors are usually pretty personable because that's their job. They have to coordinate all the artists, varying from easy to work with to just
nightmares,
incorrigible. But
gosh dang nightmares.
What's yours? You go first. Your favorite.
My favorite.
Let's start good.
Start good. That's a good thing. Probably honestly, Faraticon people. They're really nice. I could talk about, but like
I never got really like a critique from them before though.
No, I'm not talking about a critique. Just interaction.
Interaction wise. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just interaction wise. Like generally, they have all their stuff laid out.
Yeah.
They have a whole bunch of options drawn up and explained. They're like, oh, like one thing I had to do was like 2 characters like hanging out on a train. And so they provided me all this reference of what the inside of the train looks like from different angles. What type of furniture and stuff is there. They gave me a reference that like, this would be at this point of the day, so this type of scenery would be outside the window if you happen to include any sort of window. And then they just gave me a very basic interaction thing. So it's these 2 characters. I think she was like cleaning off. It was like an owl griffin person cleaning off a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, shining up a metal dragon. And I took it off.
Yeah, you did. I was looking at the wall. It used to be on her wall.
I used to have it up because they made it into a playmat. Yeah. They're like, yeah, just, wherever. And they weren't like, you need to draw this. The angle should be at 23 degrees. It should be this type of lightness. Like, they gave me all the options just in case I wanted to go, I'm like, here's what it would look like. And then you let yourself make your own choices. And that's because that game is mostly organized by artists.
Yeah.
And so honestly, like, obviously it's a goofy goddamn game. And it's not for children. And it's a smutty game,
it's
but seriously...
Plus.
Oh, yeah.
Or 17 plus.
Whatever.
It's province.
It's definitely one of the weirder titles I provide stuff for. But they're super nice.
Yeah. They're pleasant to work for.
If they were like the worst person that I've had to interact with, I would drop them like nobody's business, but they're not. They're super nice.
Yeah.
Super laid back. So what about you?
Well, for me, like, I usually, like, all the art directors I've talked to have usually probably like 95 times out of 100, which I haven't talked to that many
95%.
Yeah. Like 9 times out of 10, I adore the art director and they give me an amazing critique. And I know this isn't quite on art directors, but actually one of the most valuable critiques I got was from another artist in terms of like harshness. But sometimes you need that. You need that harshness. And it was, I think his first name was Eric, and I cannot remember his last name for the life of me right now. A very talented artist. His critique he basically was showing me my artwork with the iPad and like, so how does this make you feel? Like, what were you going for? And he was just asking me questions, and it was like the most profound thing that like I've ever experienced in a critique, because I was like, oh my god, I've never asked these questions before. Maybe I should pay attention to those.
The Privateer Press guy actually did that as well.
Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed...
I accidentally came to him with just a million goddamn pictures, and he went through every single one of those pictures.
Yeah.
And he's like... he told me what was strong about it and what was weak about it.
Yeah, and that's the best. I especially like it when they tell us, like, what the weak parts are and, like, how to improve upon it, because that... I really hate it when people are like, oh, man... That's really good. And they just don't say anything. Like, they don't say what's strong or worst off, what could be improved on. Like, they don't say that. And it's like, oh my god. But yeah, like, and also don't be afraid to ask artists. Like, usually artists are at least, if they're not too busy, are at least somewhat interested.
The thing that I extend on my thing is, like, you feel free to ask me. I might not actually do it. Like, I'm not going to do every single fucking person, because I'm busy and or, it goes by the wayside, or I'm doing something else, If they do ask me, that they have to be prepared for brutal honesty.
Yeah.
Like, somebody online had asked me, do you think my stuff is good enough for commercial work? And I think I just told him, like, you really need to work on, like, these main areas and stuff like that. And
it's hard to be honest.
He's actually gotten back to me.
Well, because a lot of people just can't take that.
Yeah, they can't.
Like, and it's like, we've all had to deal with it at one point or another. And honestly, like, I kind of crave those critiques mostly because that they care enough to, like... We get sugar-coated stuff most of the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. So when you actually get a dose of reality, it's helpful.
Yeah, it feels good, man. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. It feels great. I don't think that's what ripping off a Band-Aid should mean, but
one of the interesting things when I did talk with John Shinadet, he did this right before this, and I asked him a question. I'm like, why do you think that there's not so many women in commercial and freelance positions and stuff like this? Why do you think this field is mostly dominated by men? And he's like, oh, like, I didn't realize that he had written this, like, big giant goddamn expose on it, like,
typical man writing for women.
Yeah, how dare he? No, he written this fantastic article, like 6 months before that or something. Fairly recent before that and stuff. And it honestly turns out, it feels like that women are more It's not really about art directors. Women feel that they're not good enough, I guess. Like, they...
passive, maybe?
It's hard to put into words. Basically, the opportunity is there. It really doesn't matter gender. It doesn't really matter anything. Like, that's the nice thing about being an illustrator. You know, nobody gives 2.5 shits who you are. They care about the work that you produce.
Yeah.
So,
skill level, not necessarily anything else.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't even see you.
You could have, 5 toes in the middle of your face. You know, they don't have to see you. They don't care.
Oh, it's like, 5-toe man.
Yeah. Like a crown around the top of your head. But, like...
You're like a dark
basically, it's like you have to go and take those risks. And a lot of women are intimidated by that, because it requires being fairly aggressive, I guess, and fairly resilient.
Yeah.
But literally, if you're able to you're able to have somebody come up to you and just like, I think that looks like dog shit, and be like, well, can you tell me why it looks like dog shit? If you can work that type of mentality into your normal practices, then there's literally nothing stopping you. But, like, that seems to, like, okay, my college class was probably 80% women. Mm-hmm. And then, of the people that I know that are in any sort of actual field now, I think there's me and one other woman. And then most of the guys are doing something.
Your thing? Yeah.
Yeah, most of but that's how it tends to go. So... Like, there's definitely not, like, a sexist thing at play. That's definitely not happening.
I think a lot of it is cultural. Like, and we're just starting
that's
to...
the thing.
Yeah.
But that literally seems
happening.
like that is the only difference.
Yeah.
Is that men are more, I don't want to say conditioned, they're more used to having to sort of go tooth and nail for something they want to do. And for women, it's intimidating.
Well, they're also allowed to.
Be.
Yeah, they're
allowed
culturally
to.
allowed to. Like, it's a...
Well, I don't know if they're allowed to. It's just...
Like...
That's very normal. If there's something you want... You just have to go and work your damnedest to get it. Yeah. That's literally it. And that type of thing, that's intimidating to a lot of people. Yeah. Men and women, I'm just saying, like, that seems to be the only really key difference between people that actually succeed and people that do interpretive ink drawings. Okay, so what are our worst art director interactions?
Oh, God.
I think it was...
You want to go first?
I think, well, for me, you know exactly who it was. Okay, my worst interaction is Kristen and I both went to this one company to get portfolio reviews. And the guy looked at our artwork simultaneously, and Kristen has a lot more fanciful, and, like, my portfolio wasn't great, and you also have
mostly speed paintings.
There were a number of speed paintings.
There was nothing wrong with it. It was just speed paintings, which wasn't the kind of work they were,
Basically, he looks through Kristen's, and he is just fucking shitting himself the entire time. Oh,
yeah, that was...
Oh my god, look at that, shit, look at that. And then he's like, what's yours look like? And I give him my thing, and he's like, And it goes back to Chris. Oh.
Yeah, that was not good.
Oh my god. He's like, this is front cover material. And then he points to mine, and he's like, this may be an internal page. And I was
awful.
I think I started crying. Like,
you were not happy.
No.
But it was not a good thing to do.
No, and then I think we both ended up actually doing work for this guy.
I haven't had any trouble with it, with that particular company, except
we have.
Well, I have, but not in terms of the art director. So
yeah,
not
with the art director.
Other internal things, but
and then with the same guy, the actual stuff that I did was nothing that tends to be the type of artwork I put out, and I don't even think I put it up online ever because I just hated what it looked like. I think I put one of them up online, but I just hated it. And he told me to have this really specific composition, but the thing is that it was the top and the side view at the same time. So, he wanted, this view of these things, these, screens from the side. Or no, he wanted so you could see what the screens were, but you were looking down on this this creature. And then also, you could see the ground as well, and he described in detail, certain things on the ground and certain things in there. And he described, an annoying amount of detail to everything. And
yeah. It was separate.
I went through sketches.
Yeah.
Approved the sketch. I went through painting, did the final painting, and then he wrote me 3-page email about what a fucking terrible job I did.
Yeah.
And it was just I guess I'm just gonna have to go to print with this, there's nothing really else I can do, and I felt terrible. I felt like shit. I felt like shit when I first met this person. I felt like shit when I was in the entire process because everything was so goddamn nitpicky. And then I felt like shit at the end. Well, yeah, here's your fucking money, you know. Pfft, there you go.
Which is odd because I'm still trying to get paid for the same. We worked there. I think I worked before you, and I don't think I've still been paid. Which is the internal problems
at the same time.
Yeah, and I haven't had the same problems. Although he eventually did, I guess, refer you to someone else, which was really interesting.
Yeah. I had such a terrible interaction with this guy, but I really wanted to say, listen, jerkwad, you know, you told me to do all these other things. You can't tell me to do these other things that you've never told me to do, and then yell at me for them. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And I think instead I just put, you know, I'm sorry this wasn't to your specifications. I'll do better next time. Like, I just put something, I was seething, you know, as I was writing it, but you can't burn those bridges because
especially that type early of shit in your career.
Yeah,
there's no way.
That type of shit gets around. You cannot be that type of person. You can get spit on all goddamn day, but at the end of it, you're going to have to put on a smile, you're going to have to thank them for their time, and then you're going to leave it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Is I just, you know, I'm really sorry about that. I'll do better next time. And then I think he came back to me with a project like 3 months later, and I was busy.
Yeah.
And subsequently busy. That's sometimes I did some work for Paizo one time, and they had asked to do something right after that, but I was putting together my first book. I was doing the Kickstarter for Column Sky. And I'm like, oh god, you know, I would really love to, but I'm actually doing this Kickstarter thing right now, and I'm going to be busy for a little while. And I think they might have taken that I was not interested in working with them anymore.
Because it took
them
like
a year and a half for them to contact me again.
It's a polite way to say no.
Yeah, and art directors fully understand that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you just say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm going to be busy with projects, especially if you're, like, really generic. I'm like, I'm sorry, there are projects happening, I cannot...
I'm busy with the Kickstarters.
Yeah, so a lot of the times, and the person that this guy referred me to, I don't think it's going to work out. Like,
he referred you at least. That's nice.
it was super nice of him, and then he wrote me an email telling me how he referred me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Even though I was like CC'd on the original email of him and this guy talking, so I was fully aware.
Sometimes that happens. I've gotten CC'd by other artists who reply to art directors, and it's like, oh, honey.
Yeah, it was.
Come on.
It was kind of like, wait, really?
Yeah, no, when the artist, I guess, wanted to reply to the art director and he accidentally replied all, so all the artists.
That guy,
It's like, oh, you're cute.
But yeah, so, I mean, if you're ever in a shitty art director relationship, just be the better person. Even if they call you outright and they're like, I found this picture of your mom and I'm just gonna, you know, poop on it and I'm gonna send you a picture of it. You can't say anything.
Yeah, because you don't want that used against you.
Yes.
And honestly, if you behave civilly and professionally, there's really not anything that they can do to you.
Yeah, there's no material back that they can...
Yeah, what are they going to do? This person, did this thing, but they were totally fine afterwards.
Yeah, like, it completely douses the fire. And it's really tempting, just like, you know what, fuck this guy, I'm getting a real piece of my mind. Because I don't think I replied back to that guy for like a day and a half. Because I was angry. I was really angry.
Yeah, and sometimes you need that time.
Yeah, I think at the end I'm just like, you know, I'm sorry about that. Take
Goodbye.
it easy. So that was probably one of the worst interactions.
Yeah.
What was that? What about for you?
One of the first freelance projects I did for someone who was a former coworker.
God.
Yeah, that was my worst. And we both worked on that.
Yeah, we did.
That is literally... I was trying to think, have I had a bad experience? Oh, no, that guy. So basically, I had known this person because he used to work for the same company. And I'm not going to say shit, but you guys can probably figure it out if you know me. But basically, so this guy was working for a separate company and not for the company we work for right now.
He had a side project that he...
It wasn't a side project. It was that...
working on a side project.
Yeah, he didn't have the best...
But anyways...
But yeah, so we were at Anthrocon, and we were working at Anthrocon, so we were up late, drawing, really busy, and I get a call at 11 p.m. at night on a Saturday, so we're really... Or Friday. It was like Friday...
Yeah, I think it was
Friday night. And it was and so of course... Convention, you're really busy. And I got this call, and I ended up being on the phone with him for like, I think an hour and a half, but I remember I should have known, but he was just like talking down kind of to us and saying like, oh, well, you know, I'd love to pay you more, but, you know, this sort of thing, I need the sketches right now. And so basically I ended up working until I think 1 a.m. to get him the sketches.
Yeah, you got the sketches.
Yeah, so he's incredibly lucky that we ended up, so I had to do that right away, despite being incredibly busy at the convention. I should have just said, no, sorry. And, because him expecting that sort of service was kind of the beginning of the end. But, so we ended up doing all the work, and we busted our asses for it. And then, nothing. We send them the final. We didn't get a contract or anything, absolutely nothing. And because we were so rushed, and I had known him previously, I assumed it was okay, and that we were just going to get the thing. Turns out, 3 months down the line, they've still been using it in the game. And they haven't paid us, and they haven't even given us a contract. I tried to get a hold of him, and he isn't able to be contacted. And it was awful. And basically,
I forgot what a shit show that was.
It was the worst. It was literally, I think, the worst experience I've had with an art director. And not only that, he was just a miserable person to work with because he also had that really bad description that it was just awful.
I don't want to say a lot of, most of the bad interactions I've had, they tend to give descriptions that contradict themselves.
Yeah.
And it's always like that fucking, the only way that I think about it is like when you're learning to draw, you draw a table or you draw a dog, and you draw a dog with all 4 legs. Because you're trying to show that the dog has all 4 legs. That's why you do it. And the first major shift is you draw a dog with 2 legs, because you're assuming the viewer knows that there's a second leg behind there.
Yeah.
But that just reminds me of these descriptions where it's like, oh, I need to see the side, and also his legs are doing this, and also I want to see the top of his head as well. And it's just this fucking...
They're being specific in the wrong ways.
Yeah. It's just like a Picasso-esque type of description. You're like, so what part of this is the real description?
But then, there needs to be a jury, but they're all wearing striped pants. And if there isn't, then... Go to hell. But basically this guy, he was like a miserable person to work with, and he was just insisting like on updates, and we were all very, very fast about this. We did it as fast as possible with the best quality. And
my favorite is I thought that
nothing.
My favorite is I thought that because we had to do 3 of these illustrations for the same type of card. Which gives away more. But
you might know. It's okay.
Well,
I would never work for them again. But I'll be completely honest. I would never want to work for them. I don't care how much they pay. I would never want to.
Was it 300?
Yeah, it was just 300. So it was decent, but not really.
Was it 300 or was it
Yeah, it was 300. No, it was 300.
But I thought it was 300 for each of these?
Yeah, and it wasn't. It was 300 for basically 3 variations of the same painting.
Yeah. Which I did completely different perspectives and stuff on all of them, so I just fucked myself over.
Yeah. The thing is, if we had a contract, it would have been really easy to figure these things out, but they didn't. So basically, we sent in the finals, and we don't hear anything back for months. And then eventually, I think I just sent, like, a threatening letter.
Did we put invoices in or something?
We invoiced them, but then I don't think we got a response. And then I eventually sent them, I think a letter just saying I was going to contact an attorney. Remember? Because I remember asking my parents to help me write it. Because I do. That's how I know. And then instantly, as soon as that was received... we got a call from the art director, because I remember being called by him.
They mostly went through you. Like, they didn't me because you had recommended me.
Yeah, and also I was the one who threatened them. So basically, I ended up talking with the art director, and apparently that person that we were working through wasn't supposed to be doing that, and we should have just gone through the art director, because he's kind of a piece of shit when arranging things. More or less, we eventually we edited the contract, or I did. I edited my contract to allow
I never ended
prints.
Up ever fucking printing anything from that crap. So.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, but it's the principle. I ended up editing the contract, signing it, and sending it back so they would sign it, and they had no choice because they already, so that was the one nice thing, because they're like,
definitely have a contract when you're doing this type of stuff.
Don't listen to art direct, just anyone. If anyone says, oh, don't listen to the contract, you can print it out however you want. Listen to the contract, and if you don't like what the contract says, literally just edit it and send it back to them. Get Acrobat. It's super easy. Literally edit it, because that's what I had to do, because he was like, oh, no,
I don't know if that's something you're supposed to be doing, though. I'm pretty sure that's not. I don't think you should give the advice that you're supposed to edit your contracts.
You're not supposed to, but in this case, they were asshats.
Yeah, in that case, I think that worked. But I would not give that advice that you're supposed to edit your contracts.
No, but also they had
don't
asked
open them up in Acrobat and don't just
sign a contract and read a contract before you do any work.
Yeah, read the contract before you do work.
And that way you can decide. In this case, we were working with someone I thought was a good ex-coworker, and he wasn't. Also, always have contracts with friends, because you never know when someone is just going to be a giant asshat.
I still feel bad about my boss ended up doing some graphic design work for my mom's boyfriend.
Oh, God.
And he was just like the slowest goddamn... He never did that, by the way. Like, he never ended up making his company. He was trying to do, like, some sort of new company, and he's, like, 62 years old, and...
Well, you can if you're not an asshat.
Well, I'm just saying, he's the type of person, he just doesn't. Like, he says he's going to do something, he just doesn't,
no.
so...
This isn't more or less the one who died, right?
No, it's not.
Okay. But,
never get his money then. No, it just ended up he was supposed to be paying him like $50, and my boss did a whole bunch of different edits and stuff for this guy. And then, long story short, I think I had to tell my mom, and then my mom threatened her boyfriend with no sex. So that he would actually pay out, and he did. Yeah. And then they broke up because she was so angry with him from that.
Good.
And that's why I called my boss a homewrecker, and he got rid of my second dad. Could have been something real.
But yeah.
I heard he was just sort of a dumbass.
Yeah,
So.
But usually if you have a contract in place, that protects you and it protects the company. And really those are super important. Don't work without one unless... Just don't ever work without one. Just never.
It's a pain in the
ass,
but
it's
a necessary pain in the ass, so...
Yeah, it seems annoying, but really they're pretty standard. And if you have any questions, you can ask the art director and they'd be able to help. But usually they're pretty standard.
Do we have any other bad art director interactions?
Honestly, I think that was the one that taught me the biggest lesson of all.
You'll sometimes get people that... a lot of the times people assume that, like, big shelf or top shelf gigs pay real well. Don't laugh.
I'm not laughing.
Most of the time it doesn't. There's a few companies out there that are actively, they're not shit. Like, oh yeah, like top shelf stuff. Mm-hmm. That you think is super awesome. A lot of the times, and people don't understand this, is a lot of times gigs don't tend to pay too terribly well.
Not too terribly, yeah. Too terribly well. Emphasis on...
Well, I can't say who the companies are, but some of the companies I do artwork for, it's really just kind of a matter of building up an interaction with the art director and the company. Like, I'm not too terribly enthused to actually do some of the work because it pays a lot less than, like my regular day job or any sort of commission I have. Yeah. I think the worst one was for this popular series of books where they're like RP book things and they're all printed in black and white. I remember one time they're like, oh, could you draw us this really complex chemistry scene for $33, was it? Oh, it's not going to take so long, it's in black and white. It's like, oh my god, I have to render out a full chemistry scene in black and white for $33. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I think I politely declined, and then I never get any more work from that. But
yeah,
I mean,
which is fine. Do you really want to work for someone
exactly?
Like that?
It's like, oh, do you want to?
You didn't burn bridges. You're just like, no.
I just didn't go over that bridge. It's just it was a bad bridge.
That's a $20 bridge. You don't want a $33 bridge. You're not going to cross, and that's fine.
And I think there was one where like one of the illustrations was like $16.
Oh God!
Because they paid like $100 per page.
Yeah.
But most of the time the illustrations were little half pages.
Yeah.
So, $50. Or they were a third of a page, which is the $33, or the one where it was just like a little tiny like portrait thing, which was the $16. And I haven't taken $16 commissions since I was like...
DeviantArt.
Yeah, just starting out on DeviantArt.
Gaia Online.
God, oh my god.
Yeah, Jesus. At that point, you literally might as well do your own work.
Yeah.
And it will be more rewarding, and you will probably end up being able to make more money off either your own IP, selling prints, etc. Don't do work for people like that, especially if it's not something you usually do anyway. I mean, if you enjoy drawing dragons, and you're going to draw dragons anyway, and someone's like, I need a dragon for the thing, then maybe it would be worth it, but you really have to kind of measure out.
Most of the time you're going to be asked to draw a dude standing around. Yeah. I would say that is the vast majority. And my portfolio is not terribly dude-centric, but, like, that's most of the time. I don't even think I've ever gotten one where it's, like, draw an animal or draw, like, a fantasy thing.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs, the one company I have dinosaurs that draw, which I like doing, and they pay okay, so it's perfectly fine with me, but...
So, it just depends.
Yeah,
it's a mixed bag, because the same art director that you had a bad time with, that was later, after the first terrible one, that was just bad all around, that decided that I had to threaten them. The second one, like, I've only had good experiences with them.
Well, except for not getting paid.
Well, except for not getting paid, but the actual, and I think the problem was they ended up having some issues with the person in charge of that, and he's not in charge of that, he's in charge of the artists, not necessarily the financial aspect of the company. So, I mean, so in that case, that's a kind of a trouble, and then sometimes it will happen with companies that will happen. You just have to be really persistent, like I have been.
Yeah.
And I think it will eventually be solved soon, because it's been over a year, so...
Alright, well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact us. We respond to fridgeartpodcast@gmail.com.
We also respond to you calling us names. That's,
Well, we don't. We don't burn bridges. We just take it in stride, and then we just get angry at things.
Yeah.
Just beat up doors. No. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, let us know or anything. I've been Andrew Riddick.
And I'm Kristen Plesko.
And have a good night.